Hi folks. So I do military analysis for a living. The process is simple. You just pick a topic, gather the facts, focus on the irrefutable facts, the incontrovertible truth, apply logic, and there you have a conclusion for your analysis. A good analyst will never start with a conclusion. He has no preconceived conclusion. He has no idea as to how he's going to end the analysis. So if the process is so simple, why can we not do it together? I'm going to work with this idea and we're going to start now. I'm going to create a series of videos in which I'm going to go through the process of a military analysis. In the first video, we will gather the facts, and since this is going to be a crowd analysis, we will stop there, we will gather the facts and let the other participants give their inputs as to whether we have all the facts with us, we have all the right facts, and then we'll take it to the next step over there. We will start applying logic to the facts. So that would be another episode of this video series. Once we have applied a logic, we will make a conclusion. In all these, it's going to take us several episodes for us to do this, but the idea is that there would be inputs from all those who are willing to participate. This is going to focus on the Ukrainian war. We'll try and find out which are the weapon systems that have proven most effective. Not specific weapon systems, but the class of weapon systems that have proven most effective in the battlefield, in a contemporary battlefield. We'll first focus on NATO weapon systems that have been very effective. Then we'll focus on Russian weapon systems that have been very effective. Finally, we'll focus on the common weapon systems that both the adversaries possess, that have proven very effective. Once we compile a list of these weapon systems, we are going to compare this list and see if we in India have weapon systems which are similar in nature. And if we don't have, then we will try and see if there are other weapon systems that we have which could substitute for the weapon systems that we have listed.
Okay, let's look at the NATO systems that have played a very important role in the special military operation in Ukraine. First, let's take a look at the ISR systems in play. You have the drones, Global Hawk, Predator, both very capable reconnaissance platforms. They have synthetic aperture radar, they have the optoelectronics for reconnaissance, they have ELINT capabilities. They can fly non-stop for more than 24 hours, maintaining continuous surveillance. Then you have the AVACs operating outside Ukrainian borders from the airspace of NATO countries. They can detect Russian aircraft coming in proximity to the Ukrainian border to launch their missiles. So they give a lot of warning to the Ukrainian air defense systems. Then you have the RC-135 intelligence gathering aircraft. These aircraft are equipped for signal intelligence. They're capable of jamming. They have optoelectronics capability to pick up just about any movement on the ground. In fact, what has happened because of these ISR assets is that Russia is dealing with a battlefield which, for the adversary, is transparent. Nothing that the Russians do close to the battlefront or uh, inside Ukraine escapes notice of the Ukrainian and NATO forces because of these ISR assets. And finally, you have the optical and radar imaging satellites. This is there are three constellations in play. The Crystal constellation, which is optoelectronic, which can pick up with the resolutions less than 30 centimeters. Then you have the Lacrosse synthetic aperture radar satellites, which again can do very sharp imaging in through all weather, clouds, nighttime, and you have the SPIRS, which can pick up flashes of rocket launches, missile launches. So Ukraine gets a lot of warning. There is the HIMARS system with its GMLRS, a guided multiple launch rocket system. It's fairly accurate, 10 meters accuracy, guided by SATNAV and INS combination. It can change its trajectory after launch to fool weapon locating radars and not reveal its actual launch points. It can also be equipped with ATACMS. ATACMS is a very long range missile which allows the HIMARS system to be placed well behind the front lines and yet cover the entire battlefront, which is almost 1,000 miles long. So the HIMARS launchers never are threatened by Russian forces. And then, of course, you have the Storm Shadow missiles. Now, this missile is a very capable missile. It is stealthy, so it's difficult to pick it up on radar. It flies low. It flies in between terrain, so it can mask its approach from low-looking radar by flying in between high ground. It's also got optical terminal homing, which means it's not jammable. So the combination of these features makes it a very deadly missile. And despite having a very good air defense systems, these missiles do manage to get in through the air defense systems and wreak havoc on Russian assets. Finally, you have Elon Musk's Starlink communication system, unjammable, very good encryption, available always, everywhere. So these are the four systems, NATO systems that have given Ukraine a very unique advantage. ISR assets, the HIMARS GMLRS system, stealth cruise missiles like the Storm Shadow, the Starlink satellites.
So here is a compilation of Russian weapon systems that have proven very effective.
First and foremost, among the Russian weapon systems that have proven outstanding during the course of the special military operation would have to be the AI assisted kamikaze drone Lancet. There are three variants of the Lancet: Product 51, Product 52, Product 53, each more advanced than the other. The outstanding features of the Lancet are: it has the ability to recognize its target either using a image transmitted to it from an Orlan 30 surveillance drone which is patrolling over the battlefield area, or it can autonomously find a target digging into a library that carries of possible targets and what they look like. Russian armed helicopters, specifically the Kamov 52 and the Mi-28, equipped with long-range air-to-surface missiles, have proven very effective in stopping the Ukrainian offensive launched in June. By using long-range missiles, these helicopters have managed to stay out of manpad range of the Ukrainian forces. They specifically use two missiles, the Product 305, also known as the LMUR. It has a range of 14.5 kilometers. And its outstanding feature is it navigates to the target area using SATNAV and INS, and then uses IIR, imaging infrared, to pick up a target, lock onto the target, and attack it. It can be launched without a lock on, and the crew can pick up the target as the missile comes over the target area. The other missile is the Vikhir missile 9M120, which uses semi-active laser homing. So it requires someone in the battlefield area or some device in the battlefield area to be illuminating the target. The missile has a range of 10 kilometers. UMPC kits for dumb bombs. UMPC stands for Universal Module for Planning and Control. It's a simple kit. It's got wings, aerodynamic surfaces, and a guidance mechanism. What the kit allows you to do is fit it onto any dumb bomb, perhaps a life expired bomb that has been in storage for decades, and make it into a precision guided standoff glide bomb. Using the bomb, an aircraft can attack a target that's as far away as 50 kilometers, staying well outside the adversary air defense systems, and hit its target with reasonable accuracy. This is Russia's answer to very expensive Western glide bombs. Long range air to air missiles, specifically the RVVBD, also called the R-37M. This missile, with a range of about 300 plus kilometers, has made sure that Ukrainian fighters cannot come close enough to the battlefront to affect the performance or the operations of Russian forces. They have allowed Russian Aerospace Force fighters to dominate the battlefront, which in turn has allowed Russian attack helicopters to tackle Ukrainian armor during the offensive. A lot of Ukrainian Air Force aircraft have been lost to the R-37. A lot of pilots, Ukrainian pilots, in their interviews have said, we didn't see it coming. The missile is outstanding because it's very energetic in its end game. It's got a dual pulse motor, which allows it to maneuver at very high Gs, at very high speeds, leaving the adversary no chance to escape. Finally, let's talk about Russia's high supersonic speed, hypersonic speed, cruise, quasi ballistic, or hypersonic missiles. Examples being the Onyx, which is equivalent to our BrahMos. It's an example of a high supersonic missile. The Kinzhal, which is on the other extreme, a maneuverable hypersonic missile. The KH-22, which has got a quasi ballistic trajectory and a very high end game speed. The Iskander M, again a quasi ballistic missile, which is impacts the target at hypersonic speeds. These missiles are very difficult to intercept, and because of the energy that they pack at the high speed at which they strike the target, they're very destructive. Whenever Russia had to strike high value targets, important targets, or targets placed underground, it has resorted to these kind of missiles. Their takedown rate by Ukrainian AD has been dismal. It's something that the Ukrainians themselves admit that they haven't been able to shoot down a single of the 300 odd KH-22 missiles launched by Russia against Ukraine.
Now, let's look at the common weapon systems that have been effective from both sides.
Air defense systems, long range, short range. This conflict has proven that air defense rules out air superiority in a peer to peer conflict. Period. Attempts to suppress enemy's air defenses are neither enduring nor are they perfect. And the risks involved in intruding deep into enemy territory far exceed the benefits. Battlefield reconnaissance drones, they have changed the game completely. There is complete battlefield transparency now. 100% in daytime and nighttime in clear weather, not so much in bad weather when there is clouding. What that means is the sensor to shooter loop has reduced. The granularity of drone assets, reconnaissance drone assets that are available to units is so much that you don't have to rely on intelligence. You just have to launch a drone and gather the intelligence that you need at the unit level to shoot at the enemy, to send a kamikaze drone at the enemy, to send a FPV drone and hunt down the enemy. The game has changed. Both sides have leveraged drones, reconnaissance drones especially, to make the battlefield completely transparent. Kamikaze drones, they have changed the game. And how? You don't have to call up your artillery or your air power to destroy a picket or a manpower or a weapon system that's holding up your operations. You just send in a kamikaze drone. It's immediate, it's effective, it's cost effective. Compare it with the cost of the hundreds of artillery shells that would need to be fired, the time delay involved in doing so. Compare it to the cost of air support that has to be provided to you to knock down that target. And you realize it's a new world now. Finally, FPV drones, they have changed the game. Infantrymen's artillery, air power, and kamikaze drone combined into one. It's small, it's puny, it carries a small explosive, but it can kill a person or it can destroy a small vehicle. But then, how about the larger targets? Well, on a transparent battlefield, they don't survive. The bigger targets don't survive. A tank gets knocked off by 80 GM. There are helicopters flying with 14.5 kilometer range air to surface missiles. They can see everything.
We have drawn up a list of the weapon systems that have proven very effective in the Ukrainian war. I'm going to post this video as is at this stage. So this is going to be episode 1 of our analysis, our crowd analysis. And do give me a feedback on if you feel that some weapon systems that needed to be included in this list, which have been missed out, or some weapon systems that shouldn't be on this list. And we'll take it from there. In the next episode, we will discuss the points raised by viewers and if required, incorporate changes in our lists.